It's harder than ever to crack Perth's tight rental market, leaving many prospective tenants asking what does it take to get the upper hand in such a competitive scene. Well, property management expert Ashley Goodchild is letting us pick her brain for tips and some tricks, hopefully this afternoon. Welcome, Ashley. From the start, how do you best prepare to be the chosen tenant in such a tight rental squeeze right now?
Yeah, a couple of things that are really good to keep in mind is how long you're allowing yourself to find a property. So we are finding that on average, if you can allow 6 to 8 weeks to find a suitable property, that's what you're going to need as a minimum in the Perth rental market at the moment. And the second thing is being flexible with your suburb selections. So in Perth, we're finding that some suburbs might only have 1 or 2 rental properties available. You really do need to make sure that you have, say, 5 suburbs on your list that you're looking at to help you find a property suitable.
1 in 2 or 1 or 2 in an entire suburb. It's just insane, the crunch out there at the moment. What about when it comes to presenting well at the actual inspection? Like, would a property manager notice that sort of thing if you wear your Sunday best, for example?
Yeah, personal presentation is definitely not something that is a concern or a pain point from a property manager's point of view. I think most people use common sense when it comes to dressing appropriately at a property inspection. But a couple of things that are really good to know is making sure that you do introduce yourself to the property manager when you do arrive. That helps us put a face to a name when we process an application. And the second thing would be arriving on time.
Rental applications, right? Let's skip to that part. What do owners and managers look for in an application?
I think that everyone suggests, or I hear a lot of people talking about how property managers want a tenant with no pets and no kids, and that is completely untrue. And what we're looking for in an application is stable income, whether you are studying, have extra support from family, or you have a stable job. We're also looking to make sure that your affordability is not exceeding 30 to 40%. And that's actually a very crucial thing that people need to be looking at, making sure that they're applying for something that they can afford. Because if you apply for a property and the rent exceeds 50% of your household income, it's going to come up as a red flag on our end and something we're going to need to process a little bit further. The other thing we also find is that when we get so many applications for properties, we need to process them quite quickly. So making sure that you let any referees know that you're applying for a property and ask them to make sure that they do respond to the reference request as quickly as possible, because what we will find is that the applications that are processed the quickest are the ones that will be shortlisted the fastest.
So fast forward now, it all goes to plan. You finally get chosen for a property. How do you then make sure that you never, ever get turfed out?
Good question. Being a respectful human being in a rental property is always going to take you very far in life. Making sure that you pay your rent. And also, if you can't pay your rent or there is a hiccup, that does happen in life. We all understand that. Just having that open communication with your property manager is really, really important. And that is definitely something that property managers are seeking.
Common sense. We've got some viewer comments now, some questions too. Shannon Duffy writes, the property owners are just greedy now. Renters have no choice. Rent bidding is something that get asked about a lot. Should you do it? Is it a thing?
In WA, we're not allowed to encourage or promote rent bidding, and we actually did see this happening a lot about 12 months ago. I'm not finding that it's as common as what we think, and I would definitely say to people that are applying for a property to be very, very cautious if you do go down the road of suggesting a higher rent to secure the property, because it can actually be seen as a red flag and potentially looks like that you are trying to distract us from some poor references on your application.
Yeah, right, trying to game the system a bit. Rebecca Johnson says that depends on where people are looking. Quite often there are so few rentals in the area that they want to look at. Perhaps it'd be better and cheaper 5 to 10 minutes away. Demi Goff writes that your best option is to have no kids, no pets, and a boatload of money. That kind of touches on what you said a little earlier. Not necessarily true. Tay Noor has been in touch, writing that we should do away with real estate agents and the middlemen and have something else in place, a different system, something that's more robust with the tenant and the owner balancing out that system. Do you think that there's merit in a reform of the way that the system works right now?
I think a good property manager is so vital in the relationship. It actually creates healthier tenancies and definitely bridges that gap when there are situations that have come up, and it takes a lot of emotion out of the situation. I think property managers are very, very vital, not just for landlords, but for tenants as well.
Poida Minchin. Well, if this government stopped bringing people in, the problem wouldn't exist. Many think that curbing migration would end the housing crisis. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, we definitely have a lack of supply, and I think touching on the comment about being able to subdivide properties, adding granny flats, is something that's really, really important for us to consider. And we definitely do need more homes in Perth to handle migration levels. So I would be focusing on the building industry and getting those new homes built really, really quickly.
Property management expert Ashley Goodchild, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.